Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Fully Live. Today, we are talking and looking at the UEFA Champions League quarterfinal first leg results. Wow, what an action! And the first leg didn't surprise us much with scorelines. Gentlemen, let's start with Madrid Liverpool. Ani, what do you have for us here?
Well, you know what? I didn't think Real would necessarily play the way they did. They came out strong. Liverpool lacked a response. Again, I also mentioned which Liverpool are we going to see, and we ended up seeing the one that's been struggling as of late. You could see the defensive line was a bit in shambles. Trent Alexander-Arnold, very poor game from him again. Liverpool showed that at the start of the second half a little more life, but Real refused to sit back and welcome a Liverpool attack, which can be dangerous if they're welcomed opportunity. But you got to give credit to Real. Overall, great performance. They knew what they had to do and they executed.
Yeah, absolutely. John, what are your thoughts about the game? Big Madrid fan. What did you expect there, Madrid or Liverpool? A lot of us were thinking Liverpool would make a difference with no Sergio Ramos.
Yeah, I definitely thought the same thing. We know the history of how Liverpool plays, especially in big competitions like this. But solid performance from Madrid. I think Zidane had the right game plan set out for the guys to, attack that vulnerable back line. No Van Dijk. Um, they're missing another key center back as well. Um, Tony Kroos, Modric, that midfield controlled the game, including Casemiro.
Yeah, absolutely. That midfield, Cruz two assists almost. Modric that third assist. Yeah, and
Yeah,
Casemiro, 12, 13 recoveries, like amazing
exactly.
on the midfield. Um, I'm surprised to see Vinicius Junior, on the score sheet. Can you tell us about Vinicius
Yeah.
Junior and his impact he's caused in Madrid?
Yeah, I feel like there's been a lot of critics about Vinicius in the background. A lot of people talking. He's a great player, a player with pace, but again, he has no finish, right? We saw that in the game versus Atlanta where he made that run, and all he needed to do was really tap the ball in, but couldn't finish. So what I'm thinking is, the guy's been working on his finishing. You saw that this game versus Liverpool.
The first goal, what a
That
touch!
first touch,
Yeah,
you know, pretty clean strike. Really hard to do. We know that we play football. We can never do something like that, right? um, but yeah, I think he's been working hard, and it's showing. It's definitely showing.
true, true. It makes me realize sometimes, big players, going to a big club, Sanchez, Roberto Sanchez, or from Portugal going to Bayern, Vinicius coming to Madrid. There's so much pressure. Oh, that's why it's sometimes nice to go to a a big club, not like the big six, big five, and like Holland would be a prime example here, Oni, right? Instead of going to a big club from Salzburg, getting in Dortmund, getting the confidence, getting up, and then going to somewhere big. Oh, Vinicius Junior, I think he was just direct transfer from Brazil, so there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, definitely. Especially coming from Brazil, right? There's always that attachment. Oh, the next Neymar or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah, true. So I personally feel the Liverpool's experience on the back two, Phillips and the other guy, what's his name, Cabaz or from Schalke. That caught Real Madrid. At this stage at Champions League, you need that caught Liverpool. Sorry, you need like a solid defenders. You have Gomez, you have Van Dijk, and those two youngsters. That's what that caught them, and mistakes by the midfield by the defenders.
I do think it was for Liverpool just an unfortunate situation to be in that you've lost your three starting center backs for pretty much the whole season. And to have these youngsters rotating in with no experience, it's tough, but they don't have another choice. And I thought they had the right game plan when I saw the team sheet, Naby Keita starting instead of Thiago, just a little more defensively to protect the center backs and cover for them. But Naby Keita just wasn't in the game from the get go, and that's why Thiago came on as soon as he did.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Good for Jota and Salah combining in front again. Jota made the difference, took a short deflection, Salah scoring. I don't think the tie is finished yet. Liverpool can easily score 2 goals in Anfield and advance. What are your thoughts on the second leg here, John?
No, I agree with you on this one. It's far from over. We know Liverpool is such a strong team at home. Um, oh, with the fans there, it's not going to be the same, but they are at home, and we know Liverpool's a strong side,
Okay,
especially
yeah.
there.
Ani, what are your thoughts on the second leg here?
Well, I'm going to mention kind of contradicting points here. I think they have a chance and I think they don't have a chance. Like John said, the fans, I think 100% they would actually come back. I don't think it's going to be enough. I think they're in too big of a hole now that they're in. This year alone, they've only scored 1 goal at home. They haven't managed to produce the offense at home when needed. And a large part of that is having those fans behind you. They have some of the loudest and most supportive fans in the world that if they were there, I wouldn't doubt them coming back, but I don't think they're going to be able to do it without fans.
True, and they've been struggling domestically at home as well.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, moving on to the next game. Another English club here. We have Manchester City, Dortmund. One of Oni's favorite, Haaland. There coming to Man City. A big hype around Haaland. Will he sign for Man City or not? $154 million clause. What do you think about the game? It was 2-1 City Dortmund. Oni, you watched the game. What are your thoughts?
You know what? I think City were lucky in this game. Yes, they controlled possession, but possession isn't everything if you don't make anything with it. So I thought Dortmund did the right thing. They absorbed the pressure well. Yes, 2 goals, one in the 90th minute against them. But Dortmund came out and they played their counterattack football really well, and they were actually very unlucky. I think most of the media will agree that Jude Bellingham was denied a clear goal when Ederson came out and just completely mistimed his own play. So Man City not 100% secure at the back either, which just seems to be a trend here in the Champions League this year. And I do think Dortmund absolutely have a chance. I thought they played very well given the amount of ball time and possession they were given. And they actually created quite a few chances. Man City were favorites going in. They'll be favorites going into the second game, but I wouldn't count Dortmund out.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, that's a good one actually. John, what do you think about this game here?
Yeah, I agree with Lonnie on this one. The second leg will be interesting. Definitely not counting Dortmund out on this one. I feel like they're going to come in and just give it their all, and use that attacking force that they have with Haaland and Marcus Royce, obviously providing the assist there or providing assists. It's gonna be a good return.
Totally. To me, again, as I said it on our initial YouTube video before our predictions, the midfield of City, Gundogan and KDB, they made a huge difference. It was Emre Can's mistake, but how the ball went forward, by Kevin De Bruyne, again at the right place to score a goal. And then the second goal, the awareness of Gundogan, and awareness of Kevin De Bruyne, a long pass, Gundogan at the back post, last minutes. That's those two guys are key. Absolutely, and for Haaland, no big chances for Haaland, but his link-up play was amazing. Link-up play with Royce, he caused troubles there, and they finished. I personally think that yes, on you're right. Like City got lucky here. It should have been a 1-1, and the game should have gone back to Dortmund. But I want to talk about these controversies here. Two bad decisions. Let's talk about the first bad decision: handball by Rodri. Or was it a penalty? Because a lot of people said, "Oh, can hit his head." Was it a bad decision? Was it a penalty?
I'm going to go ahead and say no. I don't think it was a penalty because I agree it was a handball before. So right call by VAR to turn that one back.
That was a really right call because as soon as the whistle blew, we all thought it was a penalty, right? Or he had pointed at the spot.
Well, something happened, yeah.
Yeah. Without looking at the replay, over and over, you could see that it could have been a penalty there. He raised his foot. It looked like he was unaware. But yeah, good call. Not definitely not a penalty there.
And then the second one with Jude Bellingham,
Yeah,
just clearing out on Ederson. I think that should have been given a goal. Ederson hit him. He just pointed the ball forward. So that's like that should have been a goal.
Well, you hear constantly now refs are told to play on to see what transpires. But in this case, the ref didn't even do that. He blew his whistle, so it wouldn't have been a goal even if VAR overruled the foul against Bellingham and the foul on Ederson. So the goal, regardless, wouldn't have stood. Where I think VAR here kind of went one for two. Yes, they did the right thing in the Dortmund box, but then that play with Bellingham and Ederson, they got it wrong. They should have again told the referee, go to the screen, look at it, then make the call again. So
Yeah, like that was like totally that should have been a goal 1-1. And this kid Jude Bellingham, I think we've mentioned on our channel here about Jude Bellingham. We got to watch this kid. Like, a great signing from Dortmund, from I think from Birmingham. He comes from Birmingham City, and look at the confidence he played with. To me, he was I think man of the match. Played with no fear against City.
yeah, he had a couple chances out there, and Anderson made I think a save there.
Great. John, what are your thoughts on the second leg here in Dortmund? Or actually, I don't know if the games are playing in Dortmund or do they go to Budapest in Puskas Arena. But what are your thoughts on the second leg?
Yeah, it's gonna be a tight one. I think City will still edge off Dortmund, but it's gonna be another great match to watch.
Yeah, Ani, what are your thoughts about it?
I don't know who's going to advance. I think both teams have quite an equal chance, actually. I know City are in the lead, but the way Dortmund came out and played, they do look like they learned a thing or two from their previous round. Um, and they didn't get caught out as much. So I think it could go either way for sure.
Yeah, true. I personally think if Dortmund they keep things tight at the back and a late goal, 2-2, Dortmund can go through. Great. All right, moving on. We have a Chelsea fan here, a huge Chelsea fan here. Chelsea Porto expected scoreline. What are your thoughts here on the Chelsea Porto game?
Well, I watched the game. It was a tight match from both sides. Porto actually definitely in the first half, more attacking, created more chances, couldn't do anything with it. So it was a little surprising to see, considering the players they had out there with Sergio Oliveira not able to play. He's a key creative force and goal scorer for them. Chelsea did continue to look a little unsure on the defensive side of things, where maybe that is a bit of a hangover from the West Brom game on the weekend where they let in 5 goals. But Chelsea took their opportunities on the counter. They pressed up when they had the opportunity and they got their 2 goals. So Porto will definitely have the work cut out for them. They'll be hoping the returning players into the lineup can definitely make a difference next week, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think it's too little too late.
Yeah, for Porto, yes. John, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I think Porto played a good game, but at the end, it comes down to the players that Chelsea has. You know what I mean? There's world class players on the squad. Just looking at that first goal, that assist by Jorginho, Mason Mount had his back to the defender. Still gave him the ball. That little turn Mason Mount did just gave him that space to take that shot, and such a clean strike, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't see much of a Porto 2 in the second half. Like there was nothing. And the second goal, the mistake, it killed it. But
exactly.
tell me about this kid, Oni Mason Mount. You've been following him for a while, and game after game, he comes up, he shows up, he scores big goals, even in the Premier League. And he's been starting. Like, what do you think about Mason Mount? Is he the one to watch for?
He's been doing good. A lot of people criticizing him, and other people from the get-go have kind of been saying, no, he's a good player. You'll see, just give him time, give him time. He came over from Derby with Frank Lampard as well. And I have to say, he is doing very well. You can see in some games he definitely has a lot to learn still, and to mature. But when he's there, his presence is felt for sure.
Great, perfect. Well, thoughts on the second leg?
I think Chelsea will take this one. I think defensively, they learned their lesson on the weekend, and you could see that today. They played much better defensively, even though Porto came out firing in the first half. They managed to hold them off, and I don't see Porto scoring 3 goals in the second leg, or at least not conceding them as well.
True, perfect. John, your thoughts?
Yeah, I see Chelsea definitely going through on this one.
Well, there we go.
Yeah,
We might have a Chelsea Madrid semi-final there.
nice.
All right, guys, this is the game everybody was waiting for. Memories from the final 8 months ago. Heavy favorites, heavyweights clashing. Gentlemen, what a first leg. I was shocked. I was excited. I was nervous. This was the game. Ani, what are your thoughts on the first leg? Bayern PSG.
It was a great game. Very, very good match. Bouncing between the two matches here, but I think a well-executed game plan by PSG. They knew what they had to do going into Munich. They had to score some goals. They absorbed some pressure and hit them on the counterattack. But that being said, everyone knows PSG is deadly on the counterattack. So the key away goals were scored. I do think PSG were lucky to get a victory, to be very honest, even without Lewandowski, without Gnabry in the lineup. I thought Bayern were actually the better team. Again, PSG just came out on the counterattack, finished that way, which we know they can do. They've done to so many teams, but the amount of chances Bayern had, their lack of finishing cost them. And to say that for this type of a world-class team, it makes a difference. And that's where you see Lewandowski missing, Gnabry missing. They just need one chance and they'll score. So it was very interesting to see the chances they got. I for sure would have thought they would have scored more goals given the opportunities that were presented to them. So definitely in the second game, I think either team can win. But from a tactical standpoint, I think Bayern know how they have to adjust against PSG. And I don't think PSG have another way to play. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, you mentioned about the chances, absolutely. So to me, Navas was a huge difference. 23 shots on target, 60% possession. Chance after chance, and Choupo-Moting should have scored 2 or 3 goals, but just to Bayern played Schalke, an average team, 23 shots on target as well, 8 goals. You have a world-class keeper, Navas. John, you know about Navas. You know how good of a keeper he is when he was in Madrid. Save after save, right? Saving Messi's penalty in the previous leg. What are your thoughts about the game and Navas?
I mean, these are the matches everyone looks forward to, and they expect the excitement, right? We definitely got that here. PSG, some key away goals. The key players definitely stepped up. I was wrong here. I think in my predictions, I said, is Neymar ready? Is he really gonna, step up and contribute? And hey, I was wrong. Neymar actually did. He contributed 2 assists. His presence was there, right? But yeah, you're right. I mean, Navas, with all the saves that he's made, such a key player there for PSG.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Shanky, I do have to give him credit, but you have to look at the opportunities, and this is what I mean with finishing the chances. It wasn't that they didn't get them on target. Yes, they had 31 attempts, 12 on target, but the majority of the shots were at Navas. So yes, he's a great keeper, and we've seen it in the past, but we didn't see him make a world-class save this game. Everything was at him.
Yeah, true.
Right.
Also the backline was superb the second half. Just the tackles flying in, blocking, right? Flying in, blocking, because PSG knew we have to save that. The defensive line was good. Talking on the other side, the Bayern's defense, substitutions made, both defenders gone first half. That was surprising, shocking. What managers makes a substitution in 40th minute to change both defenders? Both Sule was struggling. And the substitution helped. Alaba went up front. Alphonso Davies came on the left. What are your thoughts on that, on the changes? Because I was very, very surprised on those defensive changes, and they struggled defensively.
I think they were necessary. I was a little surprised to see Goretzka come off there, but I think Alphonso Davies coming on was a good call. He started the final last year, but I do think Nicolas Sule went off with an injury, so I do think he felt something, and I think he was pulled off for that reason, kind of like Marquinhos for PSG. So it'll be very interesting to see if they both recover and how the starting back lines are going to be for both teams next week.
Yeah, I know Bayern has signed the defender from Leipzig. Sorry, what's his name? From
Upamecano, I think it is.
From Leipzig. We clearly see that they need that center back presence because Sule and Boateng, they're not that good enough. And second goal by Mbappe, through Boateng's legs. I personally feel that first goal should have been saved. Noah should have done a better job. First goal of Mbappe's, Noah could have saved that. But the third goal, you can't let Mbappe faking it. Credit to Mbappe for sure. Credit to Neymar, pressing high, playing beautiful football, counter-attacking, always, you know, uh, always looking for that edge. But I know Bayern plays a high line. That's what caught them. That's what it caught them. The second goal by Marquinhos too. Bayern trying to move up. First goal, playing a high line. So that's the problem with Bayern. They play so good. They play a high line. And I had mentioned earlier, this is going to be a hard one to catch.
No, you're right. Absolutely. The high line does cost them. And I'm surprised they played as high as they did, because I would have thought they would have learned it from the final last year where they had a few chances where Neuer came up with big saves. So you can't stop everything. But I agree with you. First goal, 9 out of 10 times he saves those. And today was the one day he didn't, and it cost them.
Yeah, true. Well, thoughts on the second leg here?
Ron?
Oh, hey. Yeah, my thoughts on the second leg.
3-2, right?
I definitely see Bayern coming back. Making those tactical changes during this game. The first game, I feel like, yeah, they've learned their lesson, and it's going to be tough for PSG to handle. Are they going to be able to handle another 90 minutes of Bayern coming at them like they did after those changes? So I still see Bayern coming through somehow.
You know what? I'm a big Bayern fan, and I hope Bayern scores. I want to give credit here to Muller. Muller's amazing because I feel like he's the Bayern's Messi. Scored a goal, always influential. Underrated. But I hope Lever's back, so Bayern can score 2 or 3 goals. I hope they don't concede, because in France they're likely to concede too. So, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think it can go either way. If PSG, like John says, it's a good question. Can they handle 90 minutes of Bayern coming at them, literally what it was the first game and what it's going to be again? And like I said, those that back line is going to make a huge difference who they choose, and in the midfield too, for holding midfield players to protect the back line, because Bayern are going to come even harder than they did this time. And it's not often Bayern have to come from behind. So they are going to bring it. They're going to give it everything they have, and we'll have to wait and see the team sheets if Lewandowski can play or not. I believe Gnabry will still be out because it is COVID. We know that normally takes about 2 weeks till someone's fit to play again. After that, not just their personal health, but even in terms of being contagious. So I do think if Lewandowski's there, PSG are going to be in trouble. They'll definitely need Neymar and Mbappe on top of their game again. We know Mbappe's on fire away right now, but for return legs at home, he hasn't produced as much. So we'll have to see if his home form can live up to his away form.
Yeah, well, I wish a speedy recovery to both Gnabry and Lewandowski, and hope Bayern wins. Well, that's a wrap. Thank you so much. Looking forward for the excitement for the second leg, and we'll be here next week with our thoughts and analysis. Enjoy the games.